Good evening, everybody. Much better, thanks. Uh, Thank you everyone for joining us today. And we had a wonderful day beginning with giving us an overview, some insights on how the emission technology is likely to evolve, future of alternate fuels. And now we have an excellent mix of panel discussing about technology. Speak about technology, I think so it's become mainstream, be it the sourcing, manufacturing, site management, vehicle usage, as well as the customer experiences. However, think of the industry as construction equipment and ag, both have stark differences in terms of characteristics that they have. While construction equipment, you will see more product utilization, more project and fleet managed, it's little more organized. And also technological savvy. The stark difference you'll see in the ag equipment where it is more price sensitive, lower asset utilizations, and a couple of years away from technological adoption. So it will be very interesting at the pace where the technology is picking up. It will be interesting to hear from the panelists today on the nature and scale of technological adoption and what is the value chain readiness that we have today. So with this, I'd like to open up the panel discussion, beginning with Mr. Nitin. Hi, Nitin. Hello. Speak about tractor, ag, and immediately we think about tractors, right? So it's more of a tractorization is high, but mechanization is low. So how do we think farm mechanization can be enhanced in India, especially when the government is looking at doubling the farmers' income, and it's not going to happen without an efficient and effective farm mechanization? Your thoughts, please.
Thanks, CVF Forum, for inviting us here. If you talk about mechanization in the farming sector, specifically in India, it's more of a tractorization, rather, we would say. If you map the entire agriculture value chain, right from soil preparation, tillage application to post-harvesting, these are all 4 or 5 steps in this value chain. You can find that the tillage application is having more mechanization. So if you see the percentage of mechanization is more into the soil preparation, and little bit you can say up to the 50% into the sowing and planting areas. And then remaining all activities in between, like the intercultivation, the plant production, and then the fertilizer application, irrigation, harvesting, post-harvesting, remain non-automated. It's more a manual. The reason being for not being automized is that any specific technology is required to make this automized. Like tractor, we can definitely use it for turning the soil into the way we want. But after that, we need a precision solutions to handle and address this particular requirements. If you talk about plant protection, so there has to be an identification of the stressed crop, and then application to the treatment of pesticides into that particular area only. If you talk about soil testing, what are all the shortfalls of the nutrient in the soil, and then there has to be a map made out of that, and then you have to utilize only the fertilizer into required areas only, not to the as a field as a whole. Similarly, in the harvesting areas, where only typically 2 types of harvester in India is very popular. One is multi-crop combined harvesters, mainly utilized into the northern rich states, and then few southern states like Telangana and Tamil Nadu. And second harvester is sugarcane harvesters, which is basically used in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka zone only. So these 2 types of harvester. Apart from that, I think there is still the harvesters are not like the coffee one, then cotton picker, and there are many other post-harvesting equipments are there, which is not very popular in India. And then post-harvesting, like this staple burning in India, which is a bigger problem. So we are not using baler in the way which we should use it. and that's why still people are burning this during this winter season and creates the air pollution problem. So if you see the complete chain, which I already explained, that only first or two stages of the agriculture is mechanized, and then still there is a big scope to get this mechanized through specific technologies, because this technology is not which can be mounted on the tractor. So these are the specific technologies.
So could you give your elaborate a little more on the thoughts on how do we make it enablement happen? You know, because we are aware that you know, tractor is largely used. There is some acceptance on harvesters, but what about the rest of the equipments which are really going to improve the farm yield and eventually complete the cycle?
Yeah. So basically, there are very popular precision spraying systems are there, which is in European and American and Australian countries, where people are doing the precise spraying, which can yield into the 40% saving of your pesticides. I think in India, I would say that in my last 2 years survey during the field, I found that we are skipping the precision spraying methodology by a mechanical sprayer, and we are directly jumping to the drone. So the drone is really a very good machine in India, which is cost effective and can be transported anywhere, and the operational cost is also not much, and government is also supporting with a lot of subsidies to the farmers. So that would definitely help in precision spraying, and then apart from that, government is also supporting the liquid fertilizers, you know, which will definitely save a lot of chemicals. There is one scheme, we call it PM Pranam. I'm missing the full form of that, but under that scheme, you know, government is giving the incentive to the states to reduce the uses of the chemical in the field. So that, and then the application of the drone and precision spraying definitely help the crop protection and then fertilizer. Second one is the irrigation systems, because irrigation is a time bound and it can save a lot of water. Under the Ministry of Agriculture, they call it more crop per drop. So they are also giving a lot of subsidies on the irrigation systems, which can definitely operate it through IoT devices, through mobile, through applications, and then it's alarm based, time bound based. And I could see this entire system could cost not more than 25 to 50,000 rupees. Once you establish into the farms, then probably it will take care of your irrigation related requirements, which is automatically switch on and switch off based on the requirement. There is a rain sensor also. If rain in last 5 hours, it senses, and then some millimeter and above, if rain is there, then it will not switch on the systems. So there's a lot of automation is being done, and fortunately it is being available in the Indian market, made by the Indian startups, and I appreciate their efforts that it's very cheaply available in the market, and there is also very good adoption by the farmers, specifically in Haryana and Punjab. I could see that.
Thanks. I think so. It's a very interesting perspective. I'm glad to know that these technologies are more indigenized and which make more sense, because technology globally is always available. It's more about addressing the cost challenge and customizations to Indian requirements. I have some follow-up questions. I'll come to you, Nitin, but at the same time, let's have some perspective from the construction equipment side. Mr. AG, hi. You know, you have a unique proposition, you know, while, you know, there is an appreciation of technology being used in construction equipment. It also makes sense because of higher utilization of the assets. At the same time, you have a multi-application equipment range. It's a very, very wide range. Now, how do we see some, you know, technological standardization happening, if at all? What's your thought on that perspective?
Thank you, CVF, Off-Highway for the opportunity in the platform. Jinal, before I get to your question, let me just, for the benefit of the audience who may have little exposure to our industry, let me give them a kind of a level set.
Sure.
What we are talking about is a low volume, high variant industry. So in a sense, to put it into perspective, we are talking about a little over 1 lakh machines that are sold every year. We are talking about approximately 55 to 65 OEMs who are in this particular space, imagine there are at least 5 to 10 types of type of classes of machines in one product, and with just 1 lakh, the major sellers are backhoe loaders and the excavators. Rest of them are all in the range of 10 machines to about 300 machines or 400 machines. So that's how the pie is shared. And each of these technologies are very unique to each of these machines and applications. Now, if you want to split it into the application format, broadly you can say these machines are classified as construction machinery, earth-moving machinery, material handling, material processing, as well as mining machinery. So all these broadly will come under this category of SEM machinery. Now, in the SEM machinery, if you look at it from a customer standpoint, there are 2 types of customers. One is an institutional customer, typically your Coal Indias, your Tata Steel, your Hindustan Zinc. So these are the customers who are who have a large fleet. Their requirement is totally different. They are basically looking at durability of the machine. How long will my machine last? What is the kind of owning and operating cost? So those are the kind of drivers that they look for. A large chunk of the machines are sold to the retail customers. Like I said, many of them could be owner-operators, basically meaning one guy, one machine he owns. The others could be operating a fleet of say 100 machines or so. So those are the retail customers. Now, they don't have the infrastructure to support the machine, so the institutional customers are basically do it myself or do it with me type of customers. While your retail customers are all do it for me customers. They're very price sensitive and across the board they're spread across all these segments or all the applications. The technology requirement for them are totally different. And now to answer Janal's question, broadly across this wide spectrum of machinery, we can classify all our technology enabling solutions under 3 baskets. One, which I would put it as 3S. The first S looks at safety. Safety meaning safety for the operator and the work area or the occupational safety is one set of solutions, technology solutions that we look at. The second S looks at solutions. What kind of solutions do we give to the customers so that they can become profitable? The very purpose, one of the key purpose of all the OEM is to ensure that our customers are profitable. Now, how do you make them profitable? So that you can tailor solutions to their requirements so that they become more profitable and they buy more of our machines. So the second S relates to the solution part of it. The third S looks at sustainability. This is primarily driven either by associations like ICMA, which are proactive in terms of proposing safety solutions to the government, sustainable solutions to the government like emission requirements, safety requirements, etc. Or it's driven by the ministry, let's say DGMS or MORTH. So the third basket is sustainability. Now, broadly, to summarize, you can look at technology solutions under 3 baskets. Now, as we go further, I'll drill it down to each and every.
Sure. Mr. Ramanathan, Mr. Reji mentioned safety. When we talk about technology, everybody talks about digitalization, IoT, and unfortunately, safety always takes a back seat, and it's more of a, an enforced solution. Unless it's regulated, nobody talks about safety. So, any thoughts on what safety solutions are a must and can enable more safer environment, more efficient environment?
Okay. Thanks to CVF for this forum, excellent forum. In terms of safety, I will put it into 2 things. One is the basic legacy systems of the tractor or construction equipment. Tractors largely follow a very 40-year-old the safety systems or braking systems and all. There are many technologies which has gone into global different countries, but we follow a unique system which is 40 years old. Since these agricultural tractors are low speed, we are excluding like some of the earlier panels told. Now agricultural tractors are also used for non-agricultural usage, but we are excluding that. But so there is no ABS or anything is not applicable for these agricultural tractors. But when they are used for non-agricultural usage, current situation is they carry a trailer. Trailer doesn't have even it's all only 4 wheels. There is no braking system or nothing is available. So the safety on one side there is a, like one side people talk about ADAS or video telematics and other thing the other thing. The other side, the basic system of the vehicle is very 40 years old technology we are adapting in India. But technology-wise, everything is available. Like you have this oil immersed braking, and then hydraulic braking, then electro-hydraulic braking, then pneumatic braking for high HP tractors. So these are all available. The technology-wise, everything is available based on the need the OEMs are applicating. On the construction equipment, we have different type of braking systems, and there also based on the need, different safety systems are there. But there are some new age customers who are adapting, like for example, different advanced safety systems like ADAS technology, or even some cases like some potato farming, some use cases for autonomous driving also is available. On the safety, I would put by today's standard, there is no, we are not catching up with the global safety systems. But on the telematics and all, we are catching up with the global trends.
Interesting disparity I see here while we are talking about enhanced use of telematics, but some basic safety technologies need to be addressed as well. Mr. Satyan, I'd like to have your views. Mr. Reji mentioned, there is a distinct categorization of the customers. One is an institutional customer and a retail customer, and at the same time, their technological requirements are different. So, can you elaborate a little more on the on-ground experiences from a rental or a fleet perspective on, what level of technology is good, what is actually being used, and what is your wish list?
Yeah, thank you CVF, Off-Highway, Rohit Dewan, for having us here. And for sure, I mean, we are sitting with my OEM friends, Volvo, Caterpillar, everybody is here. But ये machine बनाते हैं, use हम करते हैं. So we are a rental fraternity. I'm representing SERA. SERA is Construction Equipment Rental Association of India. We've been working hard to have the right penetration of construction equipment rental, this thing, so which was not there 7-8 years back. The penetration was just around 7 to 8%, and now it has picked up very well. And in some categories, it has gone up to 50%, even 60% if you talk about piling rigs, cranes, mining equipments. So this rental fraternity is picking up very fast, though have some challenges, it is fine. And when we talk about safety, sustainability, as my friend was just elaborating the same, so 100%, I mean, we have the trust in these OEMs. Everybody is making a fantastic machine with the right telematics, but I think there is little long way to go. I think OEM should have these features like IoT telematics as a standard attachment or an feature along with, whenever they are selling the machine, there has to be the right GPS, which is now a very basic thing, geofencing, GPS, IoT, some of the safety features. So it's high time, I think, it has to bring in as a standard feature for every machine. And it has to be standardized. Because, and as my friend rightly said, that there are a lot of categories. It is right from excavating to paving to piling, mining. So these are all different categories. So standardization is difficult. It is not as easy as it thinks, though we are evolving, we are growing fast, but then a lot of things. And when we talk about skilling, precisely skilling part of it, so whatever we are inculcating, I mean, in terms of IoT, telematics, or some sort of artificial intelligence, we need to have that skilled labor also at the same time. We talk a lot about skilling from various forums, but not much of the things are happening practically. So I think more skilling is required, more standardization. So for every OEM, there is a different telematics altogether, different brands, So today also I have seen, different brands. So every time there is some different brands in terms of this GPS and other things. So it is picking up for sure, but I think there is a long way to go to get it all standardized. It will take some time, and OEM as a stakeholder has to take care of this thing. They have to take this flagship forward along with the rental fraternity, which is really growing very fast and a real user of construction equipment. Thank you so much.
So, Satyan, an interesting analogy I'd like to put in. One, and you're saying that, there's a wish list of having, IoT and telematics. At the same time, you look at rental industry's nature of operation, it's highly competitive. It's great to have this, but would your customers really pay additional for this? And because at the end of the day, the end customer is not interested in your IoT. He's just interested in what cost is going to get executed at. So that's an interesting thing. I'd like to understand that whether the rental users are willing to pay that for operating more efficiently.
See, certainly not really. I mean, we are a very price-sensitive country, though rental fraternity is struggling with the margins still. So rental, unfortunately, has not picked up well in past 5-6 years. It is still the same, though everything is, picking up. Inflation is high. We talk about a lot of things, but then certainly there is a price factor involved. So there are some issues related to that. So that's the reason we always say is that OEM is our parent organization, so they should have, the right pricing, because the rental is not picked up and nobody is really want to give us more price for that extra service what we're going to provide. So there, this collaboration is required amongst all the stakeholders. We talk about infrastructure companies, even the petty contractors. It is needed for sure. I mean, if your fleet is more than 5 or 10 numbers, you certainly need this artificial intelligence, IoT and everything. But then there is a price involved, and I think it's high time we should all evolve together. We should have more deliberations on having the right price factor. Rentals should go up. This is what I have to say. So it will take some more time.
Yeah, I believe I take your price as a value proposition from the OEM perspective.
Wants to say something?
Yeah, sure, Reggie.
Let me supplement Satyan here. From a rental or a contractor perspective, just two applications I'll share where technology comes in. Imagine a situation where you give a machine. Let's say you have an owner, you're an owner, and you have to give your equipment to a guy to operate in a particular area. Now, that's an asset worth 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs. You don't know whether this asset is safe with you or it's in a particular area. That's where geofencing comes in. The moment you draw a fence around a particular area and he moves out of it, you clearly know that this guy is trying to do some mischief. So immediately you'll get a trigger from in your SMS saying that this guy has moved out of a zone which is not connected to him. So that's one way in which you can look at the technology. The other aspect is with regard to the the bread and butter of a rental guy or a contractor is the number of hours or the uptime this machine goes through. Now, why do we track hours? Primarily because every time you have a service or every time you have a repair, you can plan it properly. So let's say you have to do a 250-hour maintenance or a 500-hour maintenance. So somewhere around, say, 300 hours or 400 hours, you get a trigger. The OEM gets a trigger that a replacement is due or a maintenance part is due. So the parts are already positioned there and the parts are being changed instantly. So the uptime is kept as high as possible. Two ways, there are multiple ways in which you can look at it, but these are two ways in which it can benefit a contractor or a rental operator. Thank you.
So is it coming with the standard machine, what you are offering? Like in excavator, geofencing, is it coming as a part of the standard feature or we need to add on to it?
See, it depends on the operator, depends on the OEM. Caterpillar comes with something called Product Link Ready. So you need to pay a certain subscription to it and you need to get it. There are other OEMs who do it as a standard also. So it varies from supplier to the OEM.
The rental fraternity want it for free, with the standard feature. You can
Satyan,
put that
who wouldn't
cost.
want it? Who wouldn't want it for free? Yeah.
I would like to add one point here. Actually, if you see the cost of acquiring this equipment on the machine versus the cost of cost avoidance, if you talk about, So it really, it gives you ROI very fast. Like I'll give two use case. One is into the vibratory compactor, because you know that CNH is a leader in India for vibratory compactor. And then our lot of customer, demanding us to fit a compaction meter into that. So compaction meter right now is not made in India, it is imported. It imports from Germany. It cost almost 150,000 Indian rupees. But still fitting that equipment into compactor gives you a compaction meter, which helps you to understand that when you are doing the compaction of an asphalt road, and then the number of passes required to give the right quality of the compaction, so that it will avoid the under compaction as well as the over compaction also.
Excellent.
Under compaction will definitely give the right quality, bed quality of the road, where you need to face the penalty as in construction, uh, and then over compaction will unnecessarily consume your manpower and fuel. So the payback will come in 2 years time if you could able to do a right compaction. Another use case is in grader. The grader is being used very widely in the construction of the roads in India. And there is a very expensive precision solution being fitted into that in auto guidance systems, into the grader, and that is being supplied by one of our American partner. It costs almost 70 lakh rupees, which is equivalent to the cost of the grader itself.
Yes.
But still people fit it, and it give you a sub-centimeter level accuracy. So if you need to produce 1,000 kilometers of the road multiplied by centimeters, whatever you are going to save in terms of the asphalt and in terms of your fuel, it gives a tremendous saving. This business case on ROI is already being done by a lot of construction companies, and they are utilizing that solution being so expensive right now.
Interesting. You mentioned cost avoidance is a bigger problem, and also calculating ROI math is a very important aspect. Satin, maybe that front can be worked on. But at this point, I'd like to bring in Kritika, speak about digitalization. We are talking about IoT, telematics. It's a well case in practice in terms of construction equipment. But I'd like to have your view from tractor industry perspective. Digitalization we have seen being a disruptor in on-road segment. To an extent, it's very fairly accepted in the construction equipment segment. But the value realization of digitalization in tractor is not yet seen. Any thoughts? How have been your experience as an OEM and your customer learning curves, please?
Thank you for this opportunity. So I'm part of TAFE, Tractor and Farm Equipments Manufacturer. So whenever we work on any specific project, the one direction we always have is reduce the cost that is being paid by the farmer. So that is the objective with which every digitization project or any project is taken care, because farmers are definitely important for any agricultural based or supporting industry. And in that perspective, there are a lot of digitization that is happening in the tractor itself, but I also wanted to bring out some other ways how we use digitization and then increase or improve the income of the farmer. So you all know farming definitely is seasonal, and at times, not only weather, it is also about government subsidies and other help that the farmer needs at every year, so that he or she uses the tractor that they own, right? So in such cases where the farmer is not in position to actually do cultivation that year, so how will we actually boost their income? That is where TAFE has a CSR initiative called JFarm Services, where we are running an app where the tractor owners can register their tractors. And of course, also the farmers who do not have tractors can also get registered. They can see where the tractors are available, and they can actually rent. So that is more hourly basis, but we use technology to actually help farmers improve their income, right? So they definitely would use the tractors for their own farms, but still if the farm, even the farm equipments, the rotavator, cultivator, so in case they're not using it, they have already prepared their soil, then what do they do with it? It is an investment for them. So that those farm equipments also can be rented to other farmers who are not affording, are able to afford that particular equipment. So that is one way of using technology. And of course, talking about analytics, we definitely get the data of how the tractors are being used, how many farmers are getting benefited, how is that, do they really need help in terms of connecting with the customers, and all those areas we definitely use analytics to understand the pattern and then help the farmers to increase the rental hours in terms of owners, and also for people who do not have tractors, we help them connect with the owners. This is one way we use technology.
Right. Thanks, Kritika. You bring in very important perspectives and some of the challenges that we discussed in the morning, that, farmer is very price sensitive, it's a lower utilization of the asset. At the same time, it's a cyclical opportunity to really invest upfront. So I understand the CHCs have played a significant role in mechanization, enabling small marginal farmers, which are almost 80-85% today. And I think so we should not restrict ourselves with the limiting factor that just because customer cannot afford, we will not provide it. I think so vehicle as a service is also becoming an enabler to address multiple challenges. Speak about this. You all talk about technology, but we see very limited R&D spends. Nitin, at this point, I'll also like to bring Rahul. What are your thoughts? Speak about technology. Is key enabler is how much R&D we are doing to really trigger and make it happen. So, considering the lineage that you come from John Deere, it's a very closely associated organization with farms, understands very closely. How much of those technologies have you been able to indigenize and plan to indigenize?
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, all. I think before that, I just want to talk something about like what do you mean by emerging technologies in ag sector, like the way things will shape up or the way things will look like. I think we are looking at hardware, software, and services. Like the hardware can be anything: a tractor, implement, or drones, or maybe sensors. The way, like, you can just look at the way smartphone had evolved. Then those are hardwares, and there will be softwares, or maybe clouds, or something where this all sensor will integrate and data will be there. And then the services, where once we have data, then it's all about data analytics or mining, and then whoever needs the customers, whether the data can be processed and services can be provided. That is how the overall, when I see the overall future when look like. Now, question is when we have to see how the time will play out. Now, if you look at today, yes, most of the infrastructure or most of the what you call as is available, maybe in pockets or maybe not even completely. Now, how that will be completely available or how that will mature for the ag industry, that too again India, that's something which we have to see. But talking about that, if you see many of these companies which are operating in India, whether Indian or MNC, they do exports also to most of the Europe or the US market or some of the markets. And there, as you know, the technology is quite advanced, like some of these technologies. And so many of these export tractors or vehicles already have that technology. So if the technology is readily available, as well as we have the infrastructure, that means it is built in India itself. Now the question comes is about, yes, there are some components which might be imported or maybe the cost barrier. Because yes, these technologies do have the cost barrier. And it will take some time either customer to appreciate that or either the cost to come down. Because as you see, like some of these technologies might really help them to really precision, as you mentioned, to have like, if I have some kind of the area where what kind of the soil is there, based on that soil, he can really have that seeds planted. So that can save all the pesticides or those things. So there is definitely cost savings, or maybe the headroom is available where it can improve the customer or the user's ROI like that. But then how, and that we really need to quantify, or someone needs to really, there's still some effort need to pay.
All right. Mr. Ramanathan, do you have a similar feel? You mentioned about using very basic technologies, be it hydraulics or be it braking or even steering in a way in many applications. So how do you think that we can bring that cost parity? Given the fact that we are not going to double the industry size tomorrow, right? I mean, we are looking at 1 million tractors, will be 1.2 million. We are looking at 100,000 vehicles shuffling around construction equipment, it is similar. So that challenge is always going to be around. So what are we waiting for? Are we waiting for regulations to come in to adopt these technologies, or we are going to look at some cost-effective technologies so that it resolves some of these challenges?
Yeah. In terms of braking, we saw there are other technologies which can also give you quick ROI. Okay, I will. A lot of panel members have already talked about telematics, so I will not more go into it. So we have been discussing those technologies already. Like for example, today if you take the transmission. Today, in other segments of the industry, the automation has come. Like for example, passenger car, the penetration of AMT or the DCT or all these automatic transmission have come. Even in CV now, automation has started. While in the case of agricultural tractors today, it is still a lot of manual skill dependent. Some of these tractors have 24 gears to choose or 48 gears to choose. And still, it depends upon a person who is skilled only, because the right selection of gears will give you the right amount of productivity for different type of implements. Like you have several type of 7-8 type of implements there for different applications, and for each one of them you have to select the correct type of speed and so there some amount of automation will de-skill the and you can, because in many agricultural markets today labor availability is going to be a shortage, and already people are feeling not many people are available for running these tractors. So that is one. In case of steering, pretty like today the technology has grown. Like there is a lot of from the mechanical steering, the market has already moved to 50% of the market, or more than 50% has moved to hydrostatic, and future is electro-hydraulic steering and electrical power steering and all. So when some mechanization, like for example, surely when you go to autonomous tractors or where some of the potato farming or vineyards, the people tried autonomous tractors, there you need electrical power steering to guide the vehicle and all. So when we talk about the telematic device itself, today we are talking about how to locate the tractors, where it is used, how many hours of use. And there are some cases like Nitin explained on the precision farming, using the data, environmental data to improve the output and all. But there are a whole lot of, like, when you expand the telematic scope, today in the commercial vehicle fleets, we almost monitor almost 500 key CAN parameters and offer them a lot of predictive maintenance solutions and diagnostic solutions to them. So that, because in some of the fleets, even in Delhi itself, they travel, earlier they used to travel 300 kilometers per day. Today they travel flawlessly almost 900 to 1000 kilometers per day. For them, even a single minute of breakdown need to be avoided. And they work for almost 21 hours per day. So there, the telematic solutions are helping them very much. Then many type of farm implement operations, straight line travel and GPS guided path navigation systems are required for the like steering and telematics need to be coupled together to have a good productive. Like for example, when I am harvesting, whether I am utilizing 100% of the area to gain the productivity benefits, that is very important. So there, the telematics coupled with some more technologies in the steering and other things will help to improve the productivity. Then there are a whole lot of technological upgradation we also need to do in the implements, because the difference between commercial vehicles or passenger cars and agricultural tractor is the commercial vehicle need to transport the goods from point A to point B, but while in the agricultural tractors, it has to work. So it has to work using different type of implements which are hands and legs of these tractors. So while working, we need to use the right type of low-cost automation or electro-hydraulic automation, which can help the farmers to or drivers to improve the productivity. So there are a whole lot of technological solutions available which are yet to take place in India.
Nitin, any thoughts on integrating so many technology and probably some low cost also, which Mr. Ramanathan has explained?
Yeah, actually, beyond telematics, if you talk about like Mr. Ramanathan told about the steering system. So there is one auto steering system which is very, very popular in Europe and Australia and America also. So it keeps the vehicle on the straight line, and with the help of GNSS, the satellite receivers, and it gives an accuracy to sub-centimeter level. Almost you can maintain the accuracy in a straight line, horizontal accuracy of almost 5 centimeter, which really matters in the farm. So if you talk about certain applications like potato or sugarcane or planting applications where you need to run the straight line, this auto steering or auto guidance system is really very helpful. You can make a straight line in the field to the kilometers together, because it navigates through the satellite system and it keeps the steering into straight line. This definitely saves a lot of cost. Like in India, there are 2 types of tractor operator. One is skilled and another one is non-skilled. So whenever you talk about having the straight line in the field, mainly in the potato and in the farming, your sugarcane fields, so the skilled driver normally could able to make in perfect straight line, whether it is one acre of land or it is 10 acre of land, they have any skill sets, and then definitely you need to pay them high. But if we talk about non-skilled, they may not be able to make this straight line. With the help of auto guidance systems, you would be able to make this straight line without any skilled
Do you
operator.
see this adoption around from the contract farming or large farmers at all?
Yes, basically we run certain trials, and then we found that it could able to save almost 30% of fuel. Because of this straight line and next what method, you need not to overrun, or you need not to have the repetition of the same work, and could able to avoid the overlapping while having
The number of
certain
hours also
applications.
reduced.
Exactly. So the number of hours reduce, and then your fuel reduce. And on top of that, if you do the sowing with the help of an auto steering systems, would be able to give a right type of a plant growth, which eventually help you during the harvesting time. Because again, you need to, and you record the coordinates while you are running the tractor in the field. Same can be used in the harvester. Same harvest line can be used in the harvester when you do the harvesting. So again, you will be giving very precision path to your machines, which will eventually save your fuels.
So precision farming is something that has to pick up, and probably to begin with, maybe appreciated with large farmers or contract farming. But eventually, 2 technologies in your wish list, Reggie, that you think should be adopted in Indian scenario with respect to construction equipment, especially when we are looking at fast tracking our infrastructure growth. What's your thought from your global experiences that these 2 things or technologies need to be adopted in India?
This question to me?
No, Reggie, please.
Okay. See, look at it like this. All the technology, US as well as North America as well as Europe are the front runners are a mature market when it comes to construction industry. And all the technologies are coming from there. But can you adopt it as is in India? Not really possible because of the high cost involved and the low offtake when it's put in the Indian market. In fact, Caterpillar also, until 20 years back, we were bringing in the same machines and we were trying to sell that in India. We were nowhere near market leadership at all. And it was a very expensive solution. We had very few takers. that is where we started, the concept of one size fit all hit us very hard, and that's where we started segmenting the customers into different needs. And that is where we started, defeaturing certain products for certain applications. Now, to answer your question, Jinal, the 2 or 3 areas where, like I said, there are 3 areas from a technology perspective. One is a safety perspective driven by the regulator. The second is the value add from a solution perspective. The third is from sustainability perspective. My pick would be from a sustainability, from a solutions perspective, where the customer can get a return on investment and he sees value in whatever he buys. So typically solutions like enhanced productivity, pretty much like Nitin was mentioning in the earth-moving industry. A very simple example: a grader. I don't know how many of you have seen a grader. It has 12 controls. So in order to grade a road, the operator has to be very experienced. He's one of the highest paid operators in the class, and to get an operator like that is a huge challenge. So what the OEMs have done is that, at least Caterpillar and a few other OEMs have done it, is that we replace the entire 12 levers into a joystick. So all that he has to do is just turn the joystick like any steering wheel, and there is enough automation, there is enough technology inside which senses what is needed. Coupled with all the GNSS and other technologies which Nitin was talking about, the grading is perfect. So from an owner perspective, he does not have to search, he does not have to pay a high premium to get an operator who actually does the road properly. Even an average operator with the help of enabled technology is able to do it. Why I'm saying that as a first pick is, today the country runs on roads. That's the backbone. More reworks, more cost to build a road is going to be hitting us hard in putting out roads as quickly as possible. So if that technology is incorporated first, then the benefits that we reap out of the road is much more quicker and faster. The other, which I would like to talk about, is about operator safety. Protecting the operator in the event of an accident, say collision protection, collision avoidance. Technologies talk to each other. Like Satyan was mentioning, different companies have different solutions. Now, do they talk to each other? Not really. Each solutions, my Caterpillar machine will speak to another Caterpillar machine. Will it talk to a Komatsu machine? It does not talk. So that is where...
That's what I meant by standardization earlier. That's a bigger challenge.
So since these machines don't talk to each other, although a customer has, let's say a customer has multi-fleets. He has a Komatsu machine, he has a Kobelco machine, he has a Caterpillar machine. Now each has its own solution. Each talk to their own fleets only. Even though you have invested so heavily in technology, still there are accidents that are possible. The moment you have interoperability happening between these machines, that is, my safety solution talks to a Komatsu solution, talks to a Kobelco solution, then these machines talk to each other. So that way, the place becomes much more safer, and there's a value which the customer sees in terms of the investment that he makes. So these are the two wish lists that I have.
Perfect.
I think you're talking about not a safety and technology, whether it's available in Indian vehicle or not. I think
no, it is available. I'm just debating on the level of adaptability and and the scale of adaptability.
So that's let me add one thing. If you see, most of the OEM nowadays develop the global platform or the architectures, and based on that, different vehicle or different architecture developed. So the global platform will have all these features, like telematics or safety. Now, whether based on the cost and based on the market, they will be done what you mentioned, like add and subtraction. So that technology or readiness is available. Whether there is a reception for market and whether cost, that will decide now introduction.
I will take Nitin's point well taken, that cost should be taken as a value proposition rightly explained, right? So I understand your perspective. All technologies will always come at cost, and there's no way you're going backward. So it's only that we need to educate customer, probably have the right value proposition translated. Before we open up this panel for questions, I wanted Kritika to add. You pointed out J-Farm initiative. Obviously, because 70% of the farmers small marginal, it interests me in a way that. Do you see a use case for electrification? Because CapEx is already taken out of the equation, and you're only talking about OpEx, right? So do you see that as a use case for a small tractor electrification adoption from CHCs or, tractor as a service perspective?
Yeah, I mean, electrification is definitely in the roadmap, but is it immediate? I definitely doubt, because the villages that we look at, there are a lot of power fluctuations, there are a lot of issues with power availability, right? So motors running, all that itself is timed. So charging will definitely be a load on the whole system. And as of now, for villages to actually have a uninterrupted power supply, or at least to the change in that will definitely be necessary before we talk about electrification in a large scale.
So we need
for
to move from
tractors.
single-phase rural electrification to three-phase rural electrification in a way.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, interesting. But at this point, how many of you are from tractor industry? Oh, couple of hands. And how about construction equipment? Which industries rather represent? Components? Still, it's only 30%. Anyways, let me open up the floor for questions, if any, and let us know if you are directing to any specific panelist, please. Any questions? Yeah, Kunal here, please.
Thank you. I think this goes to Reggie, because I think he has given a food for thought. Maybe the idea that you said about equipments talking to each other, is that something that can be driven out of a regulation? Because OEMs would not want to have that. And because communication system of a vehicle, it is always flowing through, say, CAN bus, maybe, then again it becomes government directing equipments, because it's safety I wouldn't say critical, but it's a safety, standardization process. So we'll have to wait for regulation to actually have this implemented?
No, I have mixed views on this, Kunal. One is, like you rightly said, it's been quite a lot of years since we have technologies. It's not that we are late adopters or so. Technology solutions are available from as late as 2005. So 15 to 20 years already, we are fairly matured in that space. But still, nobody has taken any initiatives to bridge this gap. That is where the question comes to me as to why should a customer suffer just because we are not talking to each other? So somewhere down the road, regulators need to step in to enable it. That's one way of looking at it. Look at the mobile space, your handphones. At some point in time, each of them had different chargers. Then you had third-party suppliers who came in and they opened up that space where you had one charger which can be put for every mobile phone, right? So somewhere down the road, I'm seeing a lot of third-party suppliers coming in and they're disrupting that space to an extent where OEMs cannot sit still or wait. So it's only a matter of time. Either the regulators will come in quickly, or the third-party suppliers will disrupt the technology in such a way that we'll be forced to comply. I saw a lot of resistance in interoperability from an interoperability space in Caterpillar a few years back. Today, people are more open to it. That's because of the pressure that regulators are putting them through, as well as pressure coming from the third-party opportunities that they see. Because if you don't step into that space, somebody else is going to steal that area. So I'm seeing both as a way forward.
Also, I'd like to add, maybe Kunal, think of it this way. OEMs in this space becomes intermediaries, right? They supply the equipment, but the choice of using or integrating is with the fleet. So if there is a third-party supplier and willing to integrate this as a solution, I think so OEMs have a little role, or government have a little role to, limit the fleet or end user to use the technology in most efficient way he could.
No, there are two systems already available as far as the interconnectivity of these equipments are concerned. Like there's one AMP 2.0 is basically a common protocol which communicate the telematics. So this is a protocol being set by the international community so that there would be a standard language while consuming the APIs.
Correct.
And similarly, if you talk about between equipment to equipment, there is an ISO bus, which is an international standard where two equipments together, if connected through ISO bus, can be controlled from one vehicle.
That's the IoT we are talking about in connected vehicles. as well.
Interesting. Any
Just
other-
adding to that question, but if some fleet wants to connect all these things, they can do it. There are some fleets in US or something where they have a confined area. They create their own GPS and connect everything to that. Then the relative positioning of all the equipment will be available. So they can orchestrate all this equipment within that confined area and improve the product. So such technologies are available.
Thank you. I'm glad I could engage a lot of you.
Any more questions? Well, super. Thank you very much, audience. Thanks for your love waiting all through for this technology session. And, there's network and drinks which awaits you, I believe. Thank you, the panelists, for a wonderful and insightful session. You had a big panel, but all of you did a great job in adding insights, I hope. Thank you once again, CVF, for having us all here.